Welcome to another exciting episode of Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein. Today, I'm pleased to have back Olivia Turowski, one of my interns for the fall of 2026. Welcome back, Olivia.
Thank you for having me.
Today, you are going to interview me, and I hope I'm ready. What's your topic?
Sure. Today I wanted to talk about why some companies lose their trademarks and about genericide.
Okay. How would you like to start?
I'd like to start maybe by having you explain what you would define genericide as.
Okay, I guess I should have looked up that definition. But
Mhm.
I mean, pretty much a trademark is used to identify source. And uh, unless a trademark does identify a particular source, then you do not have a trademark. And so certain terms, we'll get into that a little bit, have become so commonly used to refer to any product of that nature and not necessarily by that manufacturer, then it becomes what is called in the industry generic. And when a term becomes totally generic, it becomes totally unenforceable. And some marks are substantively generic and they're difficult to enforce. Others are close, pretty enforceable. So there's almost kind of different levels. But when words get to be so commonly used that that no one thinks of, oh, who actually makes that, that's when a mark becomes generic.
Sure. So how does this typically happen? Is it just due to brand popularity?
Part of it is due to brand popularity. A company becomes so dominant in a field. That's usually how it starts. But one of the obligations, and a lot of trademark owners aren't aware of this, is the trademark owner has the obligation to police and enforce their mark. No one else is going to do that. And thus, if you don't actually do the policing and the enforcing, then the markets, when other companies make similar products, and you're not going out there threatening them with infringement, taking some action to uh, invalidate their trademark, and doing some active policing, then it is essentially your responsibility. And not doing that runs the risk of a mark becoming generic. So like one, yeah. So like one example is escalator. It used to be a registered trademark, and now I can't even think of another term. Uh, I mean, I wouldn't even say lift, but the uh,
Hmm.
a vehicle that takes people up at an angle with steps.
Moving
It's
staircase.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
moving stair. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. You say, hey, yeah,
The
you,
closest.
you want to take that moving staircase?
Yeah.
So that's a situation where, and I'm not even sure if Escalator Company is the name of the company or whatever company didn't
Hmm.
go around saying, no, you can't use that mark, and thus it has become generic.
So companies not enforcing their trademark properly, is that just like blind negligence? Is it sometimes they just don't think it's going to catch on or
I guess it's pretty much case specific.
Mhm.
Um, I I believe nowadays companies are much more aware of the issue. And kind of back in the old days, I'll say there were fewer companies
Mhm.
and there was less competition. And thus, companies didn't either understand what their not only just their rights, but their obligations were in enforcing the mark, or they figured, well, we'll always be the only competitor out there, or everyone else is going to be insignificant. And of course, over time, things change. I think there's become a lot more awareness in the last 30 years or so of intellectual property rights as a whole.
Hmm.
So like when I started, and I said to people, I'm going to become a patent attorney, well, people were like, what's that? Now,
Hmm.
even if people are not that familiar with patents, they know what it is. And
Hmm.
with all the trademark battles going on. So I think it was a lack of awareness of what people's responsibilities were. And there were more monopolies, duopolies, I believe, many years ago. Now you've got manufacturers all over the world. You've got companies in China, Europe, and the whole landscape, both business and legal, has become different.
Sure. Do you have any words on how brands can strategize to avoid genericide?
You have to be diligent in enforcing your mark. You have to uh, monitor the mark. You have to check the USPTO. All marks are published. You can oppose them before they become registered. You can seek cancellation after they become registered. Uh, you have to periodically be searching on the internet for domain names, websites, social media, and to even when things start to, wow, that sounds kind of familiar. Oh, there's some companies out there that are just so aggressive. I don't want to name any in particular, but some that I know that anything close.
Hmm.
Uh, they'll go after and say, stay away from my mark. Uh, I mean, a great example is Coca-Cola, and I'll take Pepsi for that matter.
Hmm.
Okay, cola has become a generic term for a dark sugary drink. I don't even know how you actually carbonated uh, describe it. But whenever you go into a restaurant now and you say, I'll have a Coke, if they don't have Coke, they'll say, oh, we carry Pepsi products. Or would a Pepsi be okay? Or vice versa. And I don't remember years ago uh, the waiters and waitresses saying, asking these questions. So it's companies like Coke, like Pepsi, who are advising restaurants and advising vendors. You know, we have a registered trademark. If someone asks for ours, we don't expect you to give them something else. And if
Hmm.
they're asking for someone else's, we don't expect you to give them ours. There's consequences for that. So companies such as Coke, um, Pepsi, they are very, very diligent in enforcing their marks. And it's not just the word marks. Coca-Cola has a trademark on their bottle. They've got even if you don't use the words Coca-Cola, but you have the kind of that
Hmm.
I don't know, swoosh or whatever, and it kind of looks like that, you're going to hear from someone at Coca-Cola. So it's all about monitoring the marketplace, monitoring the situation, checking out um, Amazon, Alibaba, Shein, all of the e-commerce website, checking everything. Now everything is worldwide. You have to be checking all over because if something's made in some other country, another thing years ago, you'd think, oh, it's made in China, we'll never see it. I won't even know about it. Now it's just someone posting it on the Amazon website. Uh, a lot of it's awareness and enforcement.
Sure. So these like large companies like Coca-Cola, do they have entire legal teams dedicated to just monitoring their trademarks?
I don't know how you would define legal teams, but I'm
Mhm.
sure that they have a pretty robust team of people who
Mhm.
are just literally out there checking for distributors, checking wholesalers, checking um, supermarkets, restaurants. I mean, as you know, you can go anywhere in the world and see a Coca-Cola
Mhm.
sign, a Coca-Cola umbrella, and it requires a lot of time, a lot of money. But when you've got really popular marks um, like Thermos is technically still enforceable, but it's an extremely weak mark. And so
Mhm.
when people think of insulated water bottle, They think of thermos. So the thermos company has a very narrow mark if it's marked in a certain way, but just to say, hey, I'm taking a thermos to the office or whatever, they've lost protection.
Mm,
Q-tip is another very, very, very weak
yeah.
mark. I think Band-Aid is somewhat stronger. If you look at the packaging, you go to CVS, you'll see like CVS brand adhesive bandage. I guess kind of if you have really a big deal of trouble thinking of what another word is for that, then it's probably become generic or really close.
Mm, okay.
So like Xerox. I think
Oh, yeah.
Xerox is technically a trademark, but people say, oh, give me a Xerox, but you can think of photocopy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for smaller entrepreneurs who have a trademark? Like maybe like a single person running a business, how they can monitor everything, or if they should?
Oh, you definitely should. Otherwise, you run the risk of, um, losing the mark. I mean, even smaller companies can lose the mark, especially in a particular industry. So it may
Mm,
not be like known to everyone, but if you lose it in a particular industry, Uh, I mean, today, if you're a small business person, I mean, you've got access to the internet. Oh, I don't have time. You have to make the time. Or you
mm,
hire somebody, or you hire a law firm to do a trademark watch, or you hire some friend or whatever. Check to see what domain names are being registered. Something you might want to consider is when you are registering domain names, register a bunch of names that are very similar to yours. And
mhm.
so it's more difficult for someone just to grab a whatever.com. But whatever it is, you know, go on the e-commerce sites, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, see what's out there. I mean, there's very few entrepreneurs today who are dealing with some little area in their small town. Um, so many people are selling online or making themselves available for orders or even services or remote or whatever. You have to get into the habit. I'm not saying every day you're checking, but you kind of need to know what to check for and then kind of put it on your calendar every couple of months or whatever. See what's going on.
Sure. Thank you for all that information.
Um, all right. Well, thank you for your questions.
Mm,
Yeah, for everyone out there, I mean, I wouldn't say it's so easy to lose your mark to genericide. I guess you've reached a level of accomplishment that people want to use your name, but it can happen slowly and over time, and then people say, I had no idea, I didn't realize it. And then by then it's too late, or even if you still have some enforceability, the enforceability may be very narrow, very weak. But you see people start using it online chats. You see people, using it even anywhere in conjunction with their products. Take a look at it. Contact an IP professional. See what can be done to stop it, because once it gets too far, it's too late.
okay, great.
Uh, all right. Well, Olivia, thank you for your questions. And again, it's been a pleasure having you as one of my fall 2025 interns. And for all of you out there watching, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein. Until next time.